Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers, and class is back in session, here for another guest speaker episode at AOA Studios. If you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, make sure to reach out to us at aoastudios.org to book your session or service today. And I'm joined today by another very special guest. He's an artist, a producer, a label owner. You've probably seen him around the town and around the state if you are a fan of the Massachusetts music scene. And he's been a little quiet lately, but he is back in full swing.
back, baby.
We are excited to introduce TRIY and the Turntable Teachers making his debut. Great to see you, bro. Thanks for stopping by. Of course.
Thanks for having me, man.
No,
Appreciate
man,
it.
we were having a great conversation before we got on. I was just like, it's about time we get this thing started.
Let's do it.
How you doing today, man?
Man, I'm good, man. Blessed, man. It's a new year, so let's get to it. I'm ready to get back out there.
Absolutely. No, I'm excited. It was hilarious because we were talking about this off air as well because I feel like we booked this months ago, right?
We might have spoken like September,
September,
something
like
and then
that.
We booked in October.
Yeah, for this date,
for this
which is kind of funny. And then,
it just flew by.
I know it did.
It
and then
just flew by.
It flew by for me too. And probably the holiday season, of course, like it
and
flies
that's why
by.
I had hit you. I was like, we still good? Like,
We're still good.
Yeah,
Hey,
I was like,
if it's on the books, I ain't changing it.
Yeah,
Unless,
I was
of course,
like,
I get
all right,
sick
cool.
or some shit or some other foreseen circumstance happens.
Yeah.
But no, hey, people, if it gets on the books, I'll be there. All right. You know what I mean? Unless something happens. So we're here. But long time coming, but happy to have you.
Appreciate
and by now, probably, I think, the Say That episode will probably actually already be out by then, or maybe not. I don't know if I'm giving it away, but I think so. I'm pretty sure the Say That episode will be out by the time this is airing. So, so TRIY will actually have done 2 podcasts in this room in about
like a new artist,
72-hour span, roughly.
Pretty much, just about.
Which is crazy. So big shout out to Pete and Say That. But anyway, so if you're a fan of TRIY, just being introduced to us for the first time, we start off with The Objective, which is the first segment of the show where we get to know a little bit about you and your background.
Yeah.
And one of the things that always fascinated me in doing my research about you is your sort of start in as a musician. I know you were a drummer initially, that's kind of how you got into music, and then you were a church director at your church growing up, which is super dope. So, and I think unique in a lot of ways too.
Yeah.
Like I think I've heard those stories of like, oh yeah, I sang in my church choir or this or stuff like that. But just for you to make the music you make, but also be a drummer, I wouldn't have probably come to my face initially. So just talk to me about those experiences early on, and how did those moments, leading your church musically, how did it give you the confidence now as an independent artist, as a grown adult?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I started off playing drums at 4 or 5 years old. So when I was in the church, my stepfather's a pastor. So just growing up, just hearing music it just came naturally. My mom brought me my first drum set. I played in my kindergarten class for graduation. So once I got a little bit older, was in the band in middle school and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just heard things differently than everybody else. So when I would go to church, it was the same thing. So they'll play a song, I have no idea what the song is. I would have to just use my ear. And so that's just
get
how,
the rhythm and stuff.
Yeah, to find the rhythm and make sure I'm kind of directing the bass player and the organ player at the same time, follow my lead type of thing. And yeah, just I've always wanted to sing, but I wasn't the best singer in the world. But I always fell in love with melodies, and plus my dad, he also did music as well.
Right,
so
I saw that.
So he also did music as well. He had his own setup in studio in the basement. So that just really gave me more confidence as becoming an artist. Just in terms of being in front of people every Sunday playing drums. So that gave me more confidence when I would go out there and perform. I was already kind of comfortable in front of people, you know what I mean? So, and I was always the class clown and all those other kind of things. So I don't know, it just made sense. And once I decided to be an artist, it just clicked. And that's just and so the producing and all that stuff just all came about the same way because I was playing drums. So try to put it all together. And plus I went to Boston Arts Academy for high school. So that's
and you're at Berklee. Well, you went to Berklee for a year or two, right? As well.
Yeah. So I went to right after well, not right after high school, I went to Bunker Hill.
Okay.
And I was super depressed. And I was super depressed because from like middle school, I was told like, you're going to go to Berklee. Like that's the next big thing. And then once I got to high school, they treated me like royalty in high school. I had actually got casted for a movie. So they was like trying to push me to get up out of school because it was like, this kid's going to be something. So, so not getting into Berklee my first try, it was like heartbreaking. So I just went to school and tried out again, and I got in and stayed there for like a year or two. So met a lot of dope people, a lot of cool people who's actually in the industry now. So it's actually fire right now. So
that's awesome. I've heard that the running joke about Berklee is if you do the full 4 years, you actually didn't even do it right, because it's all about the people you meet. One of the artists that I manage, actually, he's also a Berklee guy, but he stopped, I think, after 2.5, 3 years. Like
it's sad because it's like that's not a great thing for them, but like it
totally joking, by the way.
But no, it's the truth though. There's a lot of people that go there for like a year or two and just don't go back because they just meet so many dope people. Whether that's in the industry or writing or producing or just becoming an artist or writing for other people. Like I know a ton of people who did not graduate that's doing like amazing things. Some are on tour with her and Tiana Taylor and like all these different things. So it's pretty dope. I think even one of the guys I forget who just played. He was just on Jimmy Fallon though, a drummer that I know. So
no shit.
It's a lot of dope stuff.
Oh, is it is it Jonathan by chance from Still Gold? Is that who it is?
No, not him.
Because he was on Fallon or Kimmel. He was on one of those.
He might have been on Kimmel. I can't remember which one. Forgive
me, Jonathan, if I can't remember.
But
Jonathan Alden is his last name.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of dope people that came out of Berklee and stuff.
Yeah,
so
I don't know if he was a Berklee guy, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway.
Yeah, but that's pretty much where the confidence really came from, to be honest.
Got you. That's super cool. And then, so I know your name, and forgive me if I'm wrong on this, but I think this is what it's, and I usually don't ask these questions, but I just kind of, this one made sense to me.
Yeah.
Talent resides in you. That's what the acronym is for TRY, technically.
Yep.
So what made you come up with that as like yours to be your stage name, and like what kind of significance does that have? And if you can elaborate a little bit more on like what that means.
Yeah. So back in high school, we started TRY Records, me and my good friend Official Dudley. And I went up to him and was like, yo, we had a group of people, like we had singers, and we had people who want to rap and produce and stuff. So I was like, yo, let's come up with a label. And this is back in 2007. And then we went home, tried to think of some names. I came up with some corny ass names. And then he came back. He was like, yo, I got the perfect name. I was like, what? He was like, TRY Records. I was like, what the hell is that? And he said the acronym. I was like, oh, that's fire. That's fire. But for the longest time when I started back in like 2007, just making music and like creating stuff. I just had my stage name. And that wasn't going to work. So once I got out of high school, like towards my senior year, I was the youngest one in the crew.
Okay.
So they just called me Young Try, and I was kind of like the head of it. So it just stuck and I was Young Try. And then maybe like 3 years later, I had a manager that was at Berklee, and he was managing a couple of other kids from the school, and he was like, "Man, lose the young." He was like, "It's just there's too many youngs out." He's like, "Lose the young, just go by Try." I was like, okay.
One syllable.
Yeah.
Easy to remember.
Yeah, it's just like, just try, you don't have to do too much. You don't have to keep the young forever and stuff like that. He was like, because that's going to get old over time.
100%.
And I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, he was already doing dope things with other artists. So I was like, I'm going to trust you. So, and that just stuck. And that's pretty much what it is behind that. So that's how it all came about.
Pretty dope. That's awesome. And I know, so back to kind of not to pivot backwards, but I know, so you were a drummer, but you also play other instruments as well, don't you?
Yeah, I piano and a little bit of bass.
Okay.
Try to. But everything's by ear as far as, I did take piano lessons for a little bit, but everything has always been by ear. But drumming has always been like the main thing. I don't drum as much as I used to anymore, but which is crazy my kids do now.
Awesome.
It's a weird thing to see because they never see me play. So to see them like just come out and just be banging and really actually having rhythm and playing is like
awesome.
It's a dope thing to see, man. So
it's gotta be fulfilling as a father to like,
oh man,
see that you're passing that down. And
it tears me up all this. I had to buy them both a drum set because they was like dying to have a drum set. Just for my daughter went for her birthday, and then my son wanted one. So and he's only 4. So and like I have videos when he was 2 years old, like literally keeping beat on my electric drum set. Like it's crazy, but
That's awesome.
yeah. So it's fire. Yeah.
Because I feel like with the, and I've always, I mean, I'm not a parent, as we talked a little off air, and most of my, obviously, our, listeners know that I'm not. But, hopefully, God willing, we'll be someday. And, I obviously have my own interests, right?
Yeah.
But, and I've always said this is like, I will, no matter what, whatever my kids are into or whoever they are as people, I will support them, tried and true, like whatever their passions are. Like I want to foster that. Right. Yeah. But I think any parent would be lying to say that like they, in deep down, they wish like their passions will be passed down.
100%.
Some people are crazy about it.
Yeah.
Like I won't name names, but I know it's like I had this one story that was told to me where like, basically, he was a big baseball guy and, basically like trying to train his son to be like a left-handed pitcher because they make more money than right-handed pitchers.
Oh,
it's
wow.
Like, but he's a righty, so he's trying to train him to be left. I'm like, that's kind of insane.
Crazy.
That's kind of insane. And he's like 3 years old.
I'm
like,
crazy.
He might not like baseball. Maybe he does, and that's fine. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know the whole context, the whole circumstance. But I say all that to say like, I don't know. Yeah, in a perfect world, like I would love my kids to be, to enjoy basketball and writing and music and all the things that I like. But at the same time, like whatever they like, they like. But it's cool for you to be able to see like those interests be passed down with you, and almost not even doing it purposely.
And not even doing it. It's fire, man. To be honest, because it's just like I just look at them like, damn. Tearing up, or am I getting old? I'm just like, this is crazy.
We get a little more sentimental as we get a little older, right?
Oh my God! But like, as my daughter's 10, so like, as I see her getting older, I'm like, I'm learning more and more, and I'm like, you can't really control how they're gonna become. You know what I mean? So it's 100%. Like, just allow them to be who they are, and just hone in onto that. But as far as the music goes, my dad obviously played music and made beats and stuff like that, so it was like automatically I kind of picked that up from him and took that to another level. So hopefully my kids will just pick it up as they go.
For sure. Now, I want to bring this up as well because you just mentioned it, and I was going to save it for the main lesson, but this actually probably ties into the objective anyway, is your dad. And I know that, obviously my condolences of his recent passing. And I know that that's probably, sounds like you guys were at least pretty close for the most part, and that's hitting you. So, from, just to hear, I let you have the floor on this one, of course, what did he, when he was, here, when you were growing up, like musically, like how did he, obviously impact you and, even as a person deeper than that?
Yeah.
And then now that you've had a little bit of time to reflect on his passing, like what is kind of going through your head at kind of in this state of consciousness, like right at this moment, like where you feel, because I'm sure those emotions fluctuate from time to time.
But. I mean, every day. I mean, well, first and foremost, like he just had a big influence on me in general. Like I had to convince him to get. So I used to do Berklee classes on Saturdays when I was in high school.
Oh, no kidding.
So I was in like Berklee school, and at my high school they had all Macs, and my dad didn't have one at the time. And I was like, Dad, you got to get one. You got to get one. Like you have to. We have to get a MIDI controller and blah blah blah. It's like, man, I ain't getting that shit. And then we went to the Apple store and we saw it or whatever, and I convinced him, and he brought it. And every day and every night, I would just make music in there every single day on that computer. So, like he honed into my gift a lot. Like he allowed me to like be on his stuff and his keyboards and messing around in his studio and stuff like that. So he just gave me like free reign to continue to just do it. And my last project, Did You Forget? I finally gave it to him to hear it, and I didn't want to be around him when he heard it. And there's one song on there, If I Was Your Girlfriend. So it's a Prince remake that I did, but it was his favorite song, like one of his favorite Prince songs. And it was dope for me to be able to, because I produced it and did all this other stuff on there. So I played it for him, and he was like, this is crazy. Like, the production is crazy. And like, he was just super excited. I remember he texted me, he was like, oh, okay, this is well money spent. He was like, I could just hear that you spent a lot of money just on this entire project. I was like, man, if you only knew. So yeah, I mean, he had a big influence on me with just music in general, like just in terms of like I came from my mom's side of the family. It's all Christian music. It's all like Kirk Franklin and Hezekiah Walker. It's all these things. But then going to my dad's house, it's completely different. It's Biggie. It's Tupac. It's Dr. Dre. It's like all this stuff. So he had a very big influence just on my musical journey in general. And like obviously now him not being here is pretty tough. But He always just kept on telling me to keep going and just like go straight for plan A. You know, if this is what you want to do, if music is really what you want to do, go for it. Like, just don't stop. Just keep on going. And he'll always tell me, he's like, you know, you got distracted by these girls out here. He's like, that's your problem. If you didn't get distracted by these girls, you would have been already famous by now. But so we'll always talk.
Is he right about that or what?
You know, he is 100% right. He is 100% right. But you know, the funny thing is, I was supposed to actually, before I was going to go to Berklee, I was supposed to go to California for school.
Dope.
I was supposed to go to a school called Musicians Institute.
Okay.
And at the time, I don't know about now, but back then they didn't have dorms. And I was supposed to stay at my uncle's house out there in Baldwin Hills, but they just had too many rules at the time. And I was like 19 years old. It was like, I'm not feeding my kids cookies. And then I was like, cookies? Like, the hell you fucking feeding them grass? And it was just crazy. It's like, oh, you can't be home at this time and blah, blah. I was like, man, I ain't going out there. And I was supposed to go to LA and it just never happened. But yeah, my he's always been, I mean, my mom too, obviously, but my dad just had that with me, especially when I got casted into this movie back in high school. Like, they just allowed me to go upstate New York to stay with a woman that was right in the movie for like days, and like that type of stuff doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, man, it was. Yeah, he was one of those ones, and we was super close. Our birthday's the same day.
No shit.
Yeah, the same day. So we were super close. Talked to him every single day.
Damn.
I mean, he was a fighter, man. Like, he fought it for a long time, like a year and a half.
Damn.
Yeah, so he wasn't even supposed to last that long. So he fought a long time. But yeah, it's been tough, man. But now everything that I do, I just think about him every single time. Like, anything that I'm trying to plan on doing, and this project coming up, like, it's one of those projects that I've been wanting to kind of tap into for a while, and definitely like hear his mouth and his voice every single time I'm doing, like, anything I do now. I hear my dad's voice, like anything, like, man, put that shit down, or man, what you doing, like all that type of stuff. But yeah, it's dope, man. It's sad, but like, I know he's still here with me, so I
100%.
just try to.
That was beautiful, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, again, like, huge, respect to him and fostering all of the interests you had and letting you be your person, but also holding you accountable too. I think that's the best type of parent. And it sounds like he's passing that on to you as a parent now as well. You know what I mean? You can continue to live that through him, and then hopefully that gets passed on to your kids, because again, that family trauma, it's not fun. And the fact that your parents weren't together, but they still came together to be able to like still raise you and like raise a great man. It's awesome. And then you got different experiences in both sides, and you're able to use those influences to your advantage in both ways. So that's fantastic.
They did the best they could, and they didn't get along.
I hear that.
Didn't get along for a long time, but I was glad to see that they like made up the last couple of years and was able to like have conversations and stuff like that, especially until he passed away. So like more power to them, especially me losing my brother at such a young age as well.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we lost my brother. He was 8.
Oh no shit.
So yeah, that was so that was
Were he older or younger than you?
He was older.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was about.
That's tough.
Yeah, I was 3.
Okay. So you probably 3. Do you remember it at all, or is it just you're probably so young?
The fucked up part is that I only remember the trauma parts.
Got it.
So I only remember the funeral and what happened before that, like seeing him fall and stuff like that. Those are the only things I remember. I don't remember. Somebody could show me a picture, so I'm like, don't know. And
I'm sure the aftermath of that as well.
Yeah.
Like after obviously your parents mourning that. And,
exactly. It was a lot to go through. So to see them make up years later, as far as like just building a kind of friendship, if you will, or just like being able to like say things to each other that they probably never got to say, was pretty dope to see. So
having that civility at the end is.
Good, and it kind of helped me seeing that too. Just look at things like a different way and a different perspective in terms of like not allowing things to just linger and just kind of like life is too short, and
I get it.
Can't be mad at too long. What I mean?
Listen, I get it. We talked a little off air about my situation, and like I can relate to some of these things for sure. Not all of it, but definitely some of it. And I mean, it's it's tricky because it's like, you know, you want to hold your peace and hold your own, you know, at the same time you want to forgive, but you don't want to like, you know, let people in too far close. If, you know, I totally understand, you know, where you're coming from on all that. But regardless though, it's like, it seems like you've been through a lot, which, you know, but in a lot of ways it's made you a lot stronger. And, you know, it seems like you got things moving in a good direction for you. You still, you know, stayed focused and, you know, but good for you to be able to get through all that stuff and it being as hard as it is. And you know, I know you're probably still working through it, but it's unfortunately it's just a circle of life, right?
Circle of life, man.
That's how it goes, man.
Gotta
It's
fight
crazy.
through and get through it, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I was just having a conversation with my buddy before you came in here on the phone, and it's just like we were talking about. It's one of my friends of mine who's getting married like really the month after I am.
Yeah.
And you know, we're just talking about like, you know, because we were talking about how stressful this time is, and you know how much is going on, blah blah blah. But I said to him, I said, bro, like how lucky are we? Yeah. Like you gotta enjoy every fucking moment you're here, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Even the bad shit, like just be grateful for that. You still breathing. You can still get up the next day and, you know, go do whatever it is. You know what I mean? Even if you go to work, like, it sucks to go to work, but hey, be great. I get to go to work today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great. Be having
That's
that
why I was
gratitude.
glad I went to Turks this past October. And when my dad was here, he was like, "You still going?" I was like, "Well, not if you're not better."
Right.
He's like, "I ain't getting no better anytime soon. You might as well go." I was like, "He's like, man, you got to get out of here." He's like, "You need a break. You need to, you know, relax and take time to yourself and like see the world."
That's a beautiful gift for him to give to you in that moment.
Yeah, so
not be selfish about it and just say go.
Yeah,
That's
he
fucking
was
awesome.
like, man, he was like, just go ahead. I'm not gonna get any better. You might as well just go. So yeah, I can attest to that too, man. It's just like gotta enjoy it, bro. You know what I mean? You don't know how long you're gonna be here.
No idea. None of us know.
Don't know anything. So
no clue.
Make it the best as you can. So that's how I'm trying to live it.
Well, again, condolences on all that.
Thanks, man.
All those, but you know, like I said, I'm glad to see you still like getting out and doing what you need to do. And I think it's a good transition to the main lesson where we talk about what you got going on now. And of course, you had mentioned that you have a new project on the way.
Yep.
April looking like you were as we stand
looking
now.
Looking like into April. I hate giving out dates.
That's okay.
Because I'd be like
this year though. Can we at least say it's coming out this year?
Sure,
all right, so it's coming out this year, people. 100%
sure. If it's not into April, it's definitely gonna be beginning of May. I'm just a perfectionist.
Yep.
In everything I
get it, man.
Doing, and I
understand.
I love for things to look like quality. I know I always hear people say, you know, you take long to put out music or whatever, stuff like that. But it's like when you hear it though, it's always gonna be that quality. You're always gonna see quality visuals or photography, whatever you're gonna see. For me, it's always gonna be quality, and I take that very seriously, and I take a lot of pride in that. So
stand on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand on it, and So hopefully into April-ish. So yeah, but this year for sure.
This year for sure.
100%.
We won't quote end of April for now.
Yeah,
things can change, but looking forward soon.
Yeah.
So you haven't really dropped a ton of music in almost 2 years, really. Maybe a little longer than that.
Yeah.
Close to
know what's funny? It didn't feel like that. It to me,
it often doesn't.
It didn't feel like that because I dropped my project. Did You Forget in November of 2022, and then I still was releasing music off of that project in 2023. Including the single Need to Know, which I shot the video for, which is a big old production video that I shot. It took me a long time to put it out. I think I put it out in September, like right before the BMAs was like, I think they had just closed off, and I was pissed because I was like, I wanted that nod, man. I was like, I wanted that nod bad, because I was like, I put a lot of work into that video. Shout outs to Kat, Snaps by Kat, who shot the video. But yeah, we put a lot of work, and she put a lot of effort into that and making it all happen. And like, there was just so many moving pieces to that video. It was like my first like real big budget type of thing. We did a video before, but like that was that. But I still put that in 2023. Last year though, I ain't put out anything. I was really like honing into the label stuff, just trying to figure out what I want to do next in terms of music. You know, my dad was sick; he wasn't feeling well, so it didn't automatically feel 100% all the way right to be doing a lot of things. And I sit on a lot of music all the time, so I over listen, and I'm like, this is trash, and which is probably really good, but and plus I was tailored. One of the artists that's on TRIY Records as well. Last year was pretty much his season. So he released his project. I was on one of the songs on his project. We did some shows and stuff like that. So I was still active in doing certain things, just in terms of music. Though I usually drop something every summer, but I was like, I think I can wait this summer.
That's okay. And you put your energy in other places. And I want to give you credit with something you just said of like, I don't want to say taking a backseat because that sounds like almost like a negative thing, but for you to like let Taylor have the platform at that moment.
Yeah.
You know what? This is your moment. I'm going to be supplemental to your journey on this year and support you. And that's a better word, not backseat, but to support instead of having to be the front and center piece. Like that shows to me. And I just meeting you for about 5 minutes, I knew this already. So it's not, but just that, letting that ego part of it go and just like not having that consume you. Because again, and we're in an industry where that is not only necessary, but it can get out of hand really quick. Because I've always said this. It's like, people look at it as like ego being a negative thing. It's like, well, no, we all have it and we all need it because it's like, it's actually what drives us and makes us like successful. Yeah. But if you don't keep that shit in check, it will ruin you real quick. Yeah. And ruin relationships and isolate you and do all the things that it's like the devil and the angel on both, not that I'm religious, but like devil and the angel on both shoulders, so to speak, right? It's like you have to make it work for you. Yeah. Otherwise it's going to work against you. So much credit to you to be able to just be like, hey, you know what? Your time here, my time. I had time, I'm gonna have another time, but this is yours.
Exactly. That's how to me, like as far as like, especially like having a label, like looking for artists that I can actually like groom in a way and actually like kind of hone in on and be like, yo, this is how we got to do it. This is how we should do it and go off and do it. I think that's more dope for the person that like has the label and like grooming the person and see it blossom. I always look at how Lil Wayne was like this big mega star, which he still is, but like how he had Young Money and how they just took off and he still took the back seat in some 100%. Way and just let them just flourish. Yeah. I think that speaks a lot to Wayne than anything. You know what I'm saying? 100%.
So I feel like Dre did a very similar thing as well. You
exactly.
Know what I mean?
Took a back seat and stuff, just let the artists
let 50,
just like
let M, let all that,
just
all
let
these people. Yep.
And he gets the credit, but like see how many people he done put money into their hands and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I want to do for the label. So letting Taylor do his thing. We also have Javier, that's a part of the label as well. So trying to put together some more artists. It's a little difficult, but yeah. So that just in terms of like the music wise, but yeah, this year definitely releases something. February will be the first single.
Yeah, and you had mentioned it off air, but I think as this airs right now, it actually should be hopefully out now. But the name of it was, oh my God, I'm sorry.
Better Off Friends.
Better Off Friends. Yep. I thought I wanted to say Best Friends, but Better Off Friends.
Better Off Friends, yeah.
So what I've always been fascinated about your style is you can kind of live in both worlds. You can sing and you can do like the more, I don't want to say lush R&B, but more of that like R&B hip hop adjacent type vibe, but you can still rap as well. Right. So what is the direction with this project and a song like Better Off Friends? I mean, I can kind of, at least from the title and having not listened to the song yet, at least as this is being recorded, sounds a little more R&B side, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. So the whole project will be R&B.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So I did a project, back in 2018, I put out like a little EP called Heartbreaks and Love Songs. And it was like just 4 songs, but it was all R&B stuff. Right. I don't know. My first project ever that I ever released was called Songs for Her. It was all R&B. I had like a couple of songs I was rapping on, but for the most part it was that. And I don't know. Did you forget? I felt like that project was more like, did you forget I could do this? You forgot I could rap? You forgot I could sing? You forgot? And then this project is more so like I'm kind of back in my like R&B bag, where I'm just doing like a whole bunch of different kind of sounds and different kind of R&B music and stuff like that. So yeah, Better Our Friends is more R&B-ish, and it's dope. And yeah, it'll be out soon.
Cool. Yeah, as this is recording, it should be out like within the next hopefully week or two. So make sure you guys check out that, maybe check that out when it does drop. And I do want to talk a little bit more about the project and the label,
Yeah.
but I do want to actually transition to a different segment that we do called Pop Quiz.
Okay.
So in Pop Quiz, and I'm glad you only said okay, because a lot of times I say Pop Quiz and artists are like, no, what the hell? Like, this like brings me back to horrible, traumatic days of high school.
Yeah,
and,
like, oh, shit, MCAS. Like,
which is no longer a graduation requirement.
Hey,
which
I've seen that.
Which I'm
That's
very
dope.
happy, which is great.
That's
so
dope.
people, I want to go off a quick little tangent about this. I've seen a lot of people be like, oh my God, these kids have it so easy now, blah, 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 and they don't have to do these standardized tests. I'm going to look right in the camera and I say this. Yo, it's just to not graduate high school. They're still going to have to take this shit.
Right.
And they're still going to use it as a diagnostic for them to actually improve and get better in the skills and the services that they need by district and also individually.
People are pissed. I seen on TikTok.
It's
today, they're going
stupid.
crazy.
You guys are. Actually, sorry. I'm gonna back. I was gonna say something mean.
Say,
I was gonna. I'm not calling anybody stupid. I shouldn't say that. All right. Just people do a little bit more research before you talk online. That's all. That's it. Just do a little.
Sad thing, it won't happen because they
won't.
won't do it.
It won't.
They won't
Google
do it,
is
but
free,
they
but
should
whatever.
do it. Yeah,
it's whatever.
yeah.
So just do a little research into what it means. I don't know. It's maybe because I'm getting older now, but like. I don't know. I read about each thing before I voted for. Not to get all this thing, but I read about each question before I voted for it. Like, I'm just going blind in there and be like, oh yeah, no, like do your research, people. Like seriously, before you talk about shit that you don't really know about. This is coming from a teacher for almost 10 years. Like I'm telling you guys.
But that's how social media works. And sad.
I know
thing,
you're absolutely right. I know.
Like,
I'm barking up a tree that doesn't need to be barked up.
It's just sad, but like you have a point. It's just like, especially with something like that. It's like MCAS has been. Jeez.
And it has been shown to be not equitable because it's you can't give the same test to a certain school and another school. I mean, you guys just read between my lines here for me real quick. A certain school that might have different sort of resources than another school. Yeah. That's not an equitable thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, people. Like this is, and when I say equitable, like read between the lines of what I'm trying to say, people. Like, come on. You know, certain communities, it was not benefiting. I'll put it that way. So it's a good thing. Please trust me. From one teacher to another, just trust me. But anyway, Pop Quiz is a segment where I ask my guests, which is try in this case, rapid fire questions. Some of these have to do with music. Some have absolutely nothing to do with music whatsoever. But they're all about you, so you can't fail.
Okay, all right, bet.
So as long as you know yourself, you're good.
Right. Okay, bet.
All right. So, which you feel like you're pretty intuitive. So I think you know yourself. All right. Describe what City Music 5 Week is at Berklee.
What city?
City Music 5 Week. That's what I was told to
say.
Yeah.
That's Boston. That's right at Berklee.
Yeah. I was told to ask you about that.
Oh, you was told to ask me about it?
Yeah. What it is. Maybe it was a typo.
Okay. Oh, what is it? Okay. I was like, wait, what city? Yeah, so that's a 5-week program in the summer. So I had got back in I'm old. In high school. So 5 week is a program that basically takes either inner city kids or from all around the world to basically attend Berklee for 5 weeks. And so I was part of the Boston City Music Program, and I had got a scholarship to go because you gotta pay. But I got a full scholarship to go to the 5 week program for the summer. So I was doing Berklee classes for the summer for 5 weeks. Got to meet a lot of, cool thing about Berklee is that you got people from all around the world that go there. So I was meeting from everywhere. And some people that I was watching on YouTube and stuff, the guy went there, stuff like that. But yeah, so 5 week program I was dying to get in there. The year before that I had summer school, so I couldn't go. And I was like, I will never be in this situation again. And then I was able to do that. And at the end of it, we was able to perform in front of like a whole bunch of people inside the Berklee Center, the Performance Center. So I was in the gospel choir and I got to play drums for the choir. And it was a fire time.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Describe what it was like to see your music video for Need to Know in the big screen in Times Square.
Yeah, that was dope, man. And the crazy thing about it, the video wasn't even out yet. It was just like a coming soon thing for it. And I think that was like I think the video didn't come up for like months after that. But yeah, that was a surreal moment that happened. Yeah, that was definitely a highlight of, I think that was 2023. Yeah, damn, time is flying by. But yeah, it was a dope moment because I've always wanted that to happen, and it happened. So yeah, that was fire.
Yeah. Describe the time you got to meet DJ Envy.
DJ Envy. Oh wow, you're going way back. Yeah. So this was, goddamn. There used to be an event called Campaign Sundays. Shout out to Mick the Mayor. He used to have Campaign Sundays, and DJ Envy came, and I got to meet him. Actually, one of my close friends, his cousin is actually DJ Envy's kids' godparents, which is super crazy. It's just, yeah, it's all lines, right? Yeah. So I got to meet him. I got to ask him a few questions and stuff like that. I didn't get a chance to like play him any music or anything like that because he was DJing the set for Campaign Sundays. But yeah, it was dope. I think around that time, like I was just like really blowing up. So I got to meet a lot of like dope people. I even met Thug at Lace one time. So it was pretty dope. So yeah, that was a dope moment.
Cool. Switching gears a little bit here. So I know you're a huge movie buff, is what I've heard.
Yeah.
What would be your Mount Rushmore of favorite movies, your top 4 favorite movies of all time? You know, without thinking about it too hard.
Oh, shit. Top 4? In no order.
Yeah, no order. Yeah.
I have to put Star Wars up there, but I'm trying to figure out what episode.
Ooh.
Because that's
you're
a
about
tough
to,
one for me.
yeah.
That's a tough one.
You're about to draw a line in the sand, depending upon whichever one you pick.
It's a tough one for me for Star Wars for sure, because the prequels get so shitted on all the time, and it pisses me off. But it's probably because I that's my era. For me personally, I think episode Revenge of the Sith, so probably 3 for me.
I remember seeing that in theaters when I was a kid.
Fucked me up, man.
Fucked me up too.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this is crazy.
You're just hoping and praying Anakin doesn't really, even though you know what's going to happen, you're like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Fuck.
And then he does it, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, I was like, oh, damn.
Don't kill her. Please don't. And
come on, man. So yeah, that's definitely on there. Damn. Put me on the spot with the.
I know.
There's so many movies that I.
You get back in the car, you'd be like, "Shit, I had 4 others. I should."
I know. I was like, "Damn," but no, Star Wars is definitely up there for sure. Like that's my all-time favorite joint. What else do I love? Honestly, I like romance movies too, which is crazy.
All right,
Hitch is one of my favorite movies. I don't know if I put it on my Mount Rushmore, but like if I'm thinking about movies,
it's in the moment. Yeah,
it's in the moment type of thing.
Hitch was great. I used to love that movie.
Yeah. Shit. What am I thinking? There's one more. There's New Jack City. I love New Jack City.
Solid film.
And what else could I say? Mount Rushmore is crazy though, because there's so many, and I know Hitch and New Jack City is gonna be like, nigga, New Jack City. Damn. One more. What could I say? It'll probably be one of the like an animated.
Okay.
I would put Lion King up there.
Great choice. That was always my favorite movie growing
up. Yeah, I put Lion King up there.
Great film.
I haven't seen Mufasa yet, but yeah, Lion King is definitely up there. But there's so many of the '90s Disney ones that are dope too. Like Tarzan is one of my favorites, and like Hercules and stuff like that. But Mount Rushmore is crazy, and I know I'm getting in the car like, oh shit!
Yeah, he's gonna text me after this. Bro,
there's
4 others.
Let's edit it.
Can I send a voiceover real quick? We'll be back here in 2 days. So if you want, wait, why? Try change clothes. What happened? Mike changed clothes. They both changed clothes. This is so weird. Why would they change clothes in the middle of set?
Yeah, that's
no, it's funny. Yeah, no, I don't put you on the spot. So
yeah, no, you good.
Give him grace in the comments,
yeah,
people,
give me
please.
Grace,
yeah,
they're gonna flame me.
They're gonna flame
me.
Hitch. So are you like, when you watch, this is kind of another just random question about movies, but like in terms of movies, are you more of like, are you somebody that likes to sit in and you're just more about the experience of movies? Are you like nitpicking the cinematic moments and like the effects and like different shit? Because like I almost feel like I sometimes nowadays, like especially when I see like a really in-depth film, I have a hard time not doing that. Yeah. And I try to be like, all right, Mike, just sit down and like enjoy the film. Like, I just saw that Nosferatu movie recently, the Dracula one. And I just couldn't help but like sit there going, holy shit, dude, the cinematography, the lighting. Like I'm just like, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm like, oh wait, I'm not even really following this plot. I don't know, for you, is it just more of about the cinematic experience, or are you just like,
to a certain extent. Actually, I'll throw in another one. Black Panther is like one of my favorites too. I just love everything about that. I'm just a fan of movies. Like I'm just a movie fan. I've always wanted to be in movies, which is why I was talking about. I got casting into a movie before. The movie was stupid, but the concept was fire. But
Execution, not so much.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, that's a whole nother story with that process. It's crazy. Yeah. So when I'm like, I follow a lot of like the Marvel stuff, the DC stuff, and like I watch all kind of movie podcasts, and like I keep up with like the box office and like all, like I'm just intrigued by
so
like
you're
how
like that. Yeah.
like how like. I didn't watch Wicked, but like I seen like a lot of behind the scenes stuff of how they just put stuff together and like how they all did this. I'm just intrigued by
Set
like
design,
the whole,
like all that shit.
like just the whole process. And I think a lot of that too comes into play when I'm doing like my visuals and stuff like that.
I'm gonna ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So just like visually how it looks and kind of certain scenes are like. I just got off the phone with the directors to shoot my next video and looking at different movies and different shots that I want to imitate from there and take from there and stuff like that. And different scenes and stuff that I want to pick out of.
Sure.
And see how we can execute that for the next visual, because it's probably like a short film.
Oh, fire.
For the what I'm about to do next. To not give too much away, but
that's okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I look at when I'm watching the movies. I'm first off just a fan, and like I'm kind of just looking at like how this all like ties in together. And then after I watch the movie, how much did it make over the weekend, and like the box office, $2 billion over like so. Yeah, that's cool. That's what I end up doing with the movies.
Well, it's funny because we kicked off the year with Isha. She was our first guest in 2025, and so one of the things we talked about with her. So she's a big movie buff as well, but to the point where like she loves going to the movies and then giving a review online of the movie. Like that's like her thing. So
I've thought about doing that because I'm such a big movie buff. Like I actually want. I've been telling everybody this, like I want to collect DVDs. Like I have a few of them, but I'm like,
they'll come back at some point.
They're gonna come back at some point, and they're
then
dying
vinyls
out.
would, and look at my wall.
Exactly. So it's like I have a couple of them, and I know I just read that LG is gonna be canceling out their Blu-ray discs and stuff like that, so they're never gonna be making DVDs anymore. But that's how big of a movie buff I am.
Like just as a collector's piece too. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, like I'm cool with the whole. Netflix and Disney Plus and stuff like that, but what happens if your internet goes down, or like there's a lot of things that are leaving from there and it has to go to a whole nother streaming thing. So,
and how often are you like? It's almost like a rabbit hole. All these streaming platforms, because it's like it's almost too many options. It's like you going like you used to go Blockbuster back in the day. Yeah. I mean, there was options, but like you had to leave with something. Like you had to pick something. You know what I mean?
Like Denzel said, I'm leaving with something. I'm leaving here with something. Yeah.
Versus now, like bro, like you could sit there and scroll for fucking an hour.
That's what I was doing last night. I was like.
I kind of want to watch that, so but it's not like gonna scratch it. Yeah,
I ain't gonna watch this shit. Then I click on something like I don't even really want to watch this, and I'm clicking out of it.
Yeah, you just waste time because there's just too many options. It's like option overload. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing on Netflix. I'm like, let me go to Amazon Prime. And let me go to this.
If they didn't have too many options, you'd be like, there's nothing on here.
There's not enough options.
There's not enough options. So it's like, just damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Catch 20 motherfucking.
Yeah, it really is. That's funny.
I know you're a huge fan of cartoons, but not the newer cartoons. Like I know you've said Peppa Pig, like get that shit out of here.
No.
What would be a cartoon that this generation, from our generation, because I get this as you're about my age or slightly older or younger, depending upon, but you're from my generation. So what's a cartoon from our generation that you think is timeless that the kids these days should and need to be watching if they're not?
What cartoon? For me, I mean, there's a couple, but one that pops in mind, Hey Arnold.
Great cartoon.
I used to love watching that, and even the music. That was the big part of my life. The music is
Rocket Power 2 is another one. The
Rocket Power was fire too. But Hey Arnold, I fell in love. That's when I fell in love with jazz. That's why I was like, what kind of music is this? And I think the music guy that did it his name was Jim Lang, and I looked up his stuff. I was intrigued by the whole show, and like that's one of those. Nickelodeon just was on fire at some point with the cartoons. They shitted on Cartoon Network to me.
Cartoon Network had some gems.
They had,
but I would agree with you.
They were annoying gems to me. There was like Ed and Eddie was too much. Like Samurai Jack, like it was just those cartoons were too much for me.
I'm a big horror guy.
Okay,
as I said, Nosferatu. I was like nerding out about Nosferatu earlier. Yeah. I loved Courage the Cowardly Dog. That was like that was my shit.
Yeah.
And it like creeped me the fuck out. But I just it was one of those things like it's like a bad car accident. You just can't not look. You know? And so anyway, but I totally agree with you. Nickelodeon cartoon wise,
cartoon wise was shit. I mean, I would have said Proud Family. That's on thing, but I think it's back out now too.
I remember
but,
that cartoon,
I think they got new episodes more out now.
Oh no shit.
Hey Arnold was fire to me.
Hey Arnold's goated.
And it was like, he's in school and stuff like that, dealing with like different things and dealing with crushes and dealing like it was all those kind of things.
Very like coming of age.
And
realistic.
Exactly.
It was more realistic than, a lot of those cartoons.
When you watch it now, it's like, wow, he had a dope ass room with
his room was fire.
His room was fire. Like it was like, yo, who is this kid?
Balling out, dude.
Exactly. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, and he had a little bit of trauma himself. You know,
he had a lot of trauma. He had a lot of trauma.
I don't mean to undersell it, but yeah,
he had a lot of trauma going through it with his parents and stuff. Like, if you really look at, it's funny because if one cartoon could be like a real movie, and you go like in the depths of his character, it'd be like, wow, he was going through some shit as a kid.
Did we just live action Hey Arnold?
We just live action Hey Arnold, and I got the whole plot.
Universal, call us. Try first because he came up with it, but like,
give me a call.
I'm trying to jump into this too, so
give me a call.
Try a call. My last question is: you being a father, we had to talk about this a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best and most challenging parts of being a dad? So, like, obviously, you can say best first, and then challenging. But anything else you want to share about your kids? I want to kind of leave the floor for that because you seem like you're a very proud father. And I wanted to give you a little bit of time to talk about them. As much as you want to. Not
after this interview, I'm gonna leave and see them right now. So,
awesome.
The best part of seeing them is just seeing them grow. It's just seeing how like my it's funny because I have a girl and a boy, and they're both polar opposites on how they are. Especially how my daughter at my son's age was quiet, was calm, and it was just felt like it was so easy. It was like, wow, we could just change your diaper, do all this other stuff. We could go to the store, blah, blah, blah. My son,
you can't take him anywhere.
God damn, it's just like, vroom, 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 dad. It was like, oh my God, boy, sit down. Just like last night, he was up to like 2 this morning, and I was like, why you won't go to bed? He was like, I'm not tired. I was like, okay.
It's pretty good answer, honestly.
I was like, oh, okay. But honestly, just seeing them grow up, man, and just becoming their own little person is just dope. And I think my daughter being 10, like, and she's in middle school, I'm like, what is going on with the time? I think what scares me the most about being a parent is that they're going to grow up. You know what I mean? And like, the world is just so not a nice place. And
what it is, yeah.
Yeah, and they're growing up in a time where like we were just coming up in the social media world, like it just kind of happened. They're going into it like full force of it.
Because
like,
we grew up, we knew the era without all this shit.
That shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, MySpace was like a treat, you know what I mean? Like,
oh my God, I wasn't even on MySpace.
Yeah,
my mom wouldn't even let me.
Really?
She's like, no, like fuck that. The only thing I had was that AIM like instant messenger.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I was only on it like very minimally. Like we're both, I feel like, of the era where like I'd get home, and again, single parents, so she was just like, go do shit. She's not trying, she's trying to get shit done.
Right.
And so I get home and she's like, all right, if you don't have homework, you are literally jumping on your bike or being outside. Like, and I was of that era still where it was like,
no more, man.
I know. You call the house phone.
Gotta put your kids outside.
Gotta get them outside, bro. Gotta get them outside. Dude, I was of the era, like, almost like, again, I'm not parents. I don't only sit here and like say this, but I almost feel like we're babying our kids a little too much. Be like, oh my God. It's again, I know it's not as safe of a world as it used to be, but again, the world's never really truly been safe. And it's just like, I don't know. I was of the era where like my mom would be like, hey, go outside, go in the driveway, shoot hoops, go play basketball, go in the wood, go do something outside. Or like, and I was there, like, I'd call my friends on the house phone. Mm-hmm. But hey, is George home?
Wow,
all right.
It's crazy.
And all right, jump on your bike and I'll meet you here. Yeah. And you just expected George was going to be there when you told him. You didn't text him, like, you know what I mean? Funny. Like, and we'd drive around our bikes, and when the street lights would come on, we'd go home.
My mom's, it was because it was 2 different households when I was growing up. So at my dad's, I had a TV in my room, but at my mom's, I didn't.
Yeah.
And it was one TV in the house.
Ooh.
And that shit drove me crazy. But I think that's where like a lot of my creativity came from. I had to like figure things out. We had to go outside. We had to play kickball or football or whatever and stuff like that. Yeah. Until we moved out of that house, and then we moved to this big ass house. We had a family room with the TV and all this other stuff. But growing up, like kids just have too much electronics now. They got their phone, they got the Nintendo Switch, they got
it's too much.
the TV, they got their headphones, they got all these other things. So I think that's the only thing I fear about with them is like doing the best that you can as a parent, and then just sending them out to the world. But obviously, the world could be like a mean place and stuff like that. So that just scares me as a parent. But I'm just learning, do the best that you can do and just, hope for the best, honestly. But the best thing is to see them growing up, because it is definitely like it changes everything about you, your perspective, and how you think about certain things, and like you're never really prepared. So like I know like when I first had my daughter, it was like, oh my God, I don't have my own place, I don't have a car, I don't have this and that. And then same thing with my son, trying to figure out things. And like even now, like, okay, you want more kids or not? And like you want to be prepared. You want to have like, I want to be married. I want to have the best job. Sometimes that shit don't. You can have it all and still not be prepared to be a parent. You know what I mean?
It's very true. I not to cut you off, but I taught in an inner city and I taught in a suburb, like a richer suburb. So in my career, and I would say to you honestly, like the families that are more prepared for it, have the house, the jobs, like all that stability, all that stuff, like those parents are sometimes more absent than the ones in the inner city. And the reason is because it's like they have these big time jobs and
got to keep up with it and
huge privileges.
Yep.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And then like they're not home, so they're not really truly raising them the way they should. And it's not all. I'm not like I'm not boxing that in. Don't fucking come at me, people. Yeah, but they probably will. But it's fine.
No, they're gonna go.
They're gonna go. Off. But like I see it a little bit more than I would, and like I think that I think that like you said, you can have all those things.
Yeah.
But I think it's just at the end of the day, it's about being present.
That's it.
When you have to be. Right?
That's it, man.
It was this. We just had this conversation again. Isha was here. If I would bring her up again, like she talks about it all the time. She's like, my son is a priority, but she's not the absolute priority. Like I have other things that I'm doing, and like, yes, I'm going to raise him properly and like do what I need to do.
Right.
But like I do come first at the end of the day because I'm a human being, and like I have shit I need to do, and I have passions and I have dreams and all this stuff. So it's like, I get like, it's kind of cliche, but I feel like it's all about just being present when you need to be present and balancing your life,
priorities, making sure boundaries are in place and just different things like that. So I mean, like right now I have my kids, but I'm here, you know what I mean? So like I still gotta do things and take care of what I gotta take care of. So well, I think that's what it's all about.
Credit to you,
man.
brother.
Yeah,
well, that was Pop Quiz with Try. Did great.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Killed it.
They're gonna kill me for that Hitch movie though, but I'm gonna figure something out.
We'll be ending this. So like, wait.
I got one. There's one other movie.
So I want to talk a little bit more about the project.
Yep.
So R&B, definitely. Do you have a name for it or anything like that?
I do.
Awesome.
I do. It's
called, if you're okay to reveal it.
Yeah. Well, because by the time this airs and stuff, so the project's called Who Played Who.
Love that.
Yeah. It's called.
Oh, it's in the first single. Better off. I see where you're going.
Yeah. So it's called Who Played Who.
That's fire.
Yeah, it's dope.
There's a lot you could do with that.
It's a lot that I could do with it,
like marketing wise. Ooh, I'm getting excited. That's cool.
I got still planning the rollout and everything right now with how I'm gonna roll it out and how like even the cover art's gonna be and stuff like that. Like I got a couple of ideas on how I want to kind of play on that, but yeah, the project's called Who Played Who. I had a couple of other titles at first, but Who Played Who just kind of stuck out in terms of like the more music that I was making for it. It just made more sense for it. Like there's certain songs on there. It's like, oh, you went through that, and that happened to you. So yeah, it's not speaking too much and going in too much in depth into it, but
no, we'll leave some mystery for the people.
Yeah, as long as you know the title is called Who Played Who. That's so awesome. You got that first.
Love that. Oh, good shit. Love it. Awesome. I do want to also touch base with you a little bit more about your record label. And so you had mentioned that Javier and Tailored are on the label, and you've helped foster their careers in a way.
Yep.
I'm just curious, like how. But you had mentioned earlier that the label was middle school and high school was kind of like the inception of it.
Yep.
I'm kind of curious, like, what are some of the label's biggest accomplishments to date? How has it sort of like evolved over the years from like where it started to where it is? And then like, what are you trying to do with it, like long term? Like, what is like maybe the long term goal with the label?
Yeah. So We did TRIY Records back in high school, obviously, but I relaunched it back in 2022.
Oh, okay.
So it's still like a fairly new label. So most of the things that have come out so far is just me and Tailored. But we all three of us have projects and things that we're dropping this year. Actually, first quarter, we're dropping pretty soon. Bia has some dope stuff that she's doing. She actually just did major stages and stuff like that.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so she just did that on New York like a month or so ago. And Taylor's just a machine. That dude just has so much music and everything, at least the stuff that he sends me because he thinks he's slick. But the things that he's been sending me is fire. So yeah, he keeps me going because I just be trying to keep it with him. And this label, like I want it to be for anybody to feel comfortable and feel like they can just create. Because we're just a whole bunch of creators. And we've been doing this for a very long time. Like I've been doing music for such a long time. And I made my first song in 2007. I mean, you're talking almost damn near 20 years ago now.
Coming up on it, for
it's
sure.
crazy. So
That is crazy.
I've been doing this a very long time and was performing all over Boston and stuff like that. So the labels catered a lot more towards like R&B, to be honest.
Well, because Tailored and Bia are both more Javier, sorry, not
Yeah.
Javier, are both more like R&B.
Yeah,
artists.
yep. So I mean, if there are any dope rappers and stuff like that, I'll definitely take a listen and see how we can, because we're venturing off and just not just a label, but also on the managing side as well. So we'll definitely do that. But I had a couple of R&B artists that I was looking at to try to like help out and see if we can get a part of what we're doing. But honestly, we want to do a lot more this year, and we got a lot of things planned that we're going to be rolling out pretty soon. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But yeah, if anybody is looking for a home to kind of create music and wants people that, a team of people who do a lot of things. It's not just us three. We also have Official Dudley, who does a lot of the A&R and stuff like that. We have Raina. She does a lot of like the social media and the marketing and stuff like that. So we're just building like a team of collectives and stuff like that to like kind of just make sure everything's right. And just make sure like certain things that you have as an artist, like there's just so many different things. Like you can say you're part of a team or putting out music, but what's the point of doing that when you don't got your publishing, you don't have, all these other things. There's so many other things than just DistroKid that you can utilize. The Sound Exchange, there's like all type of things that get your money from other places than just DistroKid and just from the traditional streaming platforms. You have radio spins that could be in Australia or something that you could be getting money for that DistroKid may not get. Or you're publishing, there's BMI, there's also ASCAP. Like there's so many different things that you would need to know to be able to really get your music and get paid, you know what I mean? Because ultimately that's one of the things that you want to do. So,
Of course.
Or just creating different streams of income. Like I have shirts, we have platforms that we're doing more reels and content. We're doing shows. We're putting together our own shows. I have no problem with performing at other different venues and shows, but you just got to have a check for me. Keep that in mind. But yeah, so yeah, that's what we're all about right now. So that's what we're really gearing up for. But look for us to be making a lot of things within the next few months. The first quarter is going to be pretty crazy for us. So, and we got some things lined up. And yeah, the label's taking off. It's doing pretty well. But we haven't done enough right now, and we're gearing up to do more this year. So I think I sat back enough. So I think it's just time for me to get back out there.
It's ready. Yeah. And it takes a village, people. It really does.
It takes a village, man.
I'm glad with everything you're saying because, there are so many artists out there that don't, they just overlook a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean? And it's you're leaving a lot of money on the table. We had Rosewood Bapin here, who I know you've worked with in the past. Yeah. And he was telling me on his episode in 2024, he was telling me that there was a song that did really well. He wasn't on ASCAP. And I guess there's like a certain time, I think it's maybe 2 years, something like that, where it'll time out. So like there's all this money that it sits in an account for you, but then if you don't claim it, then it just like goes, I don't know where the fuck it goes. But
which is me. I did the same thing happen.
He said the exact same thing. He barely just caught it because he got on there and he's like, oh my God, I have this all this money from this song that I didn't even know. And because I didn't have BMI and ASCAP. So like it's crazy.
Same thing happened to me. I missed my mark for mine. So I had my biggest song to date is Baddies. It's called Baddies.
Right.
Didn't even shoot a video for it. Everybody shits on me for not doing that. But it didn't come out because next year was COVID. So I dropped it in 2019. I had no faith in that song at all. I did not think it was. It might have been 2018, 2019. I forgot what year it came out. But the song, I think now, 400,000 streams or something like that, like half a million or something like that throughout all the platforms. But I didn't register it through my publishing and stuff like that. Because I didn't believe in the song. Even the producer was like, "You can have it. Don't worry about giving me no credit." And he was like, "You can have it." It was my biggest song. It was so I get so upset about the song because I knew it was a dope song, but I didn't think it was gonna take off like that. And it was 2019 I released it. So I actually had, I don't know if you're familiar with Blast. He's an R&B from he does like R&B music from LA.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
He was on Kendrick's album too.
Right. He's like in that. Okay.
Yeah,
with the X instead of the A.
Yep.
That's why I honestly, this is gonna sound embarrassing. I didn't know that that's how you pronounce his name.
Oh, really?
I didn't know it was Blast.
You was gonna say Blix?
I thought it was Blix. I like funny. Him. I'm not like a huge fan. So like when I've seen the name, I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah. So that's me being, whatever. It is what it is. We're not all perfect people. It's fine.
But no. So I had that song, and I was like, maybe I should get him on this. I was like, nah, I'm gonna just put it out. I was like, and mind you, it fits him because it's more LA. I did that song back in like 2017. But anyway. I had him lined up for a feature. He was only charging $300 at the time. This is before his like major break. Yeah, before his project came on, before his major break. And I sent him something else that didn't have nothing to it. Like I didn't have a hook or anything to it. And I was supposed to go. He had invited me to one of his shows that he did out here. He performed with YG on like some private yacht or some shit like that. Wow, yeah, it was something crazy. I didn't end up going because I had to work and like it was like some whatever bullshit that happened. But anyway, long story short, he was supposed to get on the record, didn't happen. Then he ends up blowing up, and then we never ended up doing the record. But then the record blows up, and I don't have all my stuff together, so. That's why now when I'm doing the label stuff, I'm like, man, make sure everything's together. Make sure this beat's paid for. Even if it's not paid for, at least lease it out for a certain, you can do more stuff with it. Like if you're not going to fully purchase a beat. But I always tell that story because that was like, I feel like if I had got that feature, it would have just did something for my career. But it's all God's timing. But to that point, like, just got to make sure shit's straight. Make sure shit's all together, man, because like it can easily just get overlooked, and there's so much, even if it's not like the biggest stream song, there's still so much other money you can get from other than DistroKid. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And you can easily just get fucked basically by not knowing information that you're supposed to know as an artist, and you see it all the time. You see people on TikTok, on Instagram, and stuff like that talking about it, but like it's actually putting the work and stuff behind it because. I know a lot of people, like being an independent artist, you just feel like I'm doing so much, I'm doing this, and that.
And there's like, a lot to it. Don't get me wrong, but
there's so much to it, man.
But that's why this is the difference between people that take this shit seriously and people that are just like, all right, this is a hobby. Which again, don't mince my words. Both avenues are totally fine,
completely fine.
But if you're gonna take it seriously, you gotta take it seriously, or you can't be shocked if you don't take it seriously.
I started taking it real serious, more so once I started seeing like the reaction from people to my songs. And it was probably like 2015, 2016 around that time. And I was like, oh shit, y'all like this song? Like this is really taking off. And just from there, like that's just kind of happened. But even in the midst of that, like, being a part of a big collective of people that I was a part of, they didn't know more than I did. So, anything I said, that's what we were doing. In terms of like when music related stuff. So if I say, yo, I'm putting this project out, or I'm putting this out with no visuals or no marketing or no rollout, it was coming out. So a lot of songs just kind of got not its due diligence for what it could have been. But, you live and you learn, and That's why, we're here now for TRIY Records.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. People, this has been Try. One hell of an episode. I'm so glad you came down here and got to share your story. And you see that you were really vulnerable and open and here and honest. And I always love when I can sit down on these episodes and, the artist coming in here is just purely themselves and very, vulnerable and shares and then gives some game. Like, guys, that was a lot of game. Like, if you're an artist just getting started or you're a little unsure of how serious you want to take this, like, that was great to hear. So definitely take that seriously, what Try just said, because it's very important. But yeah, man, like, just props to you for continuing to push, doing this for as long as you have. It's been a long time, but
it's funny because people think that I kind of just got out there, or like when they see me, they don't really know. But been doing this a very long time. Yeah.
But the fact that you're keeping going with it, and I don't say rebranding, but reshaping who you are as an artist too, and like elevating things and taking steps back to take steps forward. Like it's really it's important, because I feel like some people are just like, all right, 100 miles an hour all the time, and it's like, that's great, but you gotta take those rest periods. You gotta
take them, man.
You gotta take a step back. You gotta like reevaluate. Like, it's all very important. And to get stuff in the right place, that way you are ready for it when that comes. Next sort of, when that hits and when it blows, inevitably, hopefully for people. But bro, great episode. I really appreciate you coming down here. Man. Cannot let you go quite yet. We have our last final segment, which is just one question, and this is the open response. And the open response we do, it's called the dream song scenario.
Okay.
So I'll structure it for you. You get one song. It's a try song, and you get any artists or producers on this thing, dead or alive. You can enlist anybody you want. You get up to 2 producers, and you get up to 3 guest features. You don't need to fill all those, but you get up to that. So who would be on Try's dream song scenario, dead or alive? I'll give you as much time as you need.
Okay, so producers. Oh, man. Just 2?
You get up to 2.
Up to 2. Shit. That's tough. That is tough. I would have to go Timbaland.
I think you would sound great on a Timbaland beat.
I would definitely go Timbaland. And I would have to go Hit Boy. Because Hit Boy, he reminds me of my producer, Jada Great, and they can just do anything. Like, they can go in any kind of avenue. They could go straight hip-hop. They can go anywhere as far as that goes. As far as artists, damn, anybody? I got to throw Drake up there. I know everybody's, like, going crazy right now with Drake, but that's still... Drake's
Talk of the Town was just in here not too long ago with Pete. They just had a whole thing. It's out now. Go check that out. It's pretty funny. They had a crazy... Drake-Kendrick conversation, yeah.
Yeah, I understand, but you can't deny what Drake has done, and he is incredible to me. But, oh, man, in one other person?
You can get 2 more if you want.
Okay.
You get up to 3.
Okay.
It's a big record. Big budget.
It's a big budget. Big
record.
Okay.
We're manifesting this.
This is my whole check. This is my whole advance right here. Okay, I would do that. Damn, who else would I guess? There's so many dope artists.
So many directions you can go.
Directions I can go with that.
Which is why it's a fun exercise.
Yeah. I'll probably put. Damn, there was one more other producer I could have did, but let me think about another artist that I would put on this record, because that'd be a fire record.
It's already sounding good.
It's already sounding kind of crazy. I think I would go Travis Scott.
Okay.
And
I'd like to hear what Travis and Timbaland would do together.
That'd probably be stupid.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be pretty wild.
That'd be, because Timbaland's he's another one of those ones that could do anything too.
And those 808s be hitting.
Oh my! Anything he does is just like, what is wrong with this man? Definitely put Trav on there,
all right.
And then I think I'm gonna leave it right there before I throw something out there like Hitch again.
Well, you might already get it for the Drake thing.
I know.
Whatever.
I'm definitely gonna get it. I don't care. Drake is...
He's such a big Hitch fan, he's going to actually enlist Will Smith on this, too.
I'll be like, yo, Will Smith next, man. Biggest feature I got. Him and Joyner, too, because they got strict out.
I know, right? Shout out to Joyner.
Yeah, shout out to Joyner.
Bro, all right. Well, it would be Try featuring Drake and Travis Scott, produced by Hit Boy and Timbaland. Think it'd be a number one smash hit.
That's with me on there. That's crazy. That'd be fire.
It's your song, so you'd be that'd be to the moon.
That'd be out of here.
But anyway, Try, thanks so much for being here, bro.
Appreciate
pleasure,
you
absolute
me,
pleasure.
Thank
All you have to do is look into that left side camera, let people know where they can find you, plug away, let anyone else you want to shout out, anything else you want to say. Now's the time.
Yeah, man, y'all can find me on Try. It's Try, ITS-TRIY on Instagram. I believe my TikTok is Try Season. Actually, check out the TRIY Records page on Instagram. You can see us on there. We're going to go crazy all year. Shout out to Taylor and Javier on the whole TRIY Records family. New project coming out pretty soon. Definitely check that out. And here we are. Let's get it.
Awesome. And if you're a fan of Try, just being introduced to us for the first time, you can find us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram and TikTok. Hit up our website, turntableteachers.com, for all the latest blogs, episodes, you know how it goes. And then, of course, if you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, make sure to check us out at aoastudios.org. Book your session or service. Today, we offer a plethora of services for artists and also businesses as well. We just launched a business opportunity. So if you own a small business and you need some content done, reach out to us. We kind of do it all here. We're trying to be a multimedia studio. Not trying. I shouldn't say trying.
Nah, you're not trying.
We're doing it.
You're doing it. Yeah, you're doing
I'm only saying trying because Try is here.
Exactly.
That's why I said that.
But you got to try to be
We're
different.
doing it. We're doing it. Sorry, I should say. Yeah, we're doing it. I gotta figure it out. I gotta give myself a little more credit than that. Yeah, we're doing this shit. All right? Hit us up.
There you go.
Hit up. Yeah, you can see a lot of our work at aoastudios.org. So make sure you check us out. Once again, Try. Thanks so much for being here.
Appreciate you.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And as always, I'm Mike. That's Try with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.
Turn.